So today we're starting our third transformations, and we're talking about dilations. Just as a reminder, a dilation is a change in size. And it walks us through with kind of this little example. It said, Harold and his friends went to a wizard camp where they took a class on spells and potions. The group tried several potions that would either cause you to grow or shrink based on the scale factor of each potion. Fill out the table below to show the effect that the potions had on Harold and his friends. So they took 60 and they multiplied it by 1/2, which is what this process says. I'm doing 60 times 1/2, and they ended up with 30. Half of 60 is 30. If I started at 60 and ended at 30, it caused me to shrink. And we're going to do the same thing right here. I'm going to take my 64 and multiply it by 3. And I need my calculator for that. 64 times 3 is 192. If I started at 64, I ended at 192, that caused the person to grow. So what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video, and you're going to do that for the last 4. Taking that starting height, multiplying it by your scale factor, telling me what the new height is, and then telling me if you were to shrink or grow. Just a heads up, I'm not going to write these on the paper, so you're going to have to do it. The number 1 tells us to describe in our own words how we calculated the new height. Well, we took our height and we multiplied it by the scale factor. And that's what we're going to do on every single one of these problems. If it gives me one shape and asks me to dilate it using a scale factor, we are going to multiply. It asks us to list the scale factors that caused him to grow. 3 made him grow, 2.5 made him grow, and 3/2 made him grow. And then looking at the ones that made him shrink, 1/2 made him shrink, 1/8 made him shrink, 0.4 made him shrink. If I look at this, my numbers that caused him to grow, my numbers that are bigger than 1 cause him to grow. My numbers smaller than 1 make him shrink. When we multiply by a number bigger than 1, my shape gets bigger, I grow. When I multiply by a number smaller than 1, my shape gets smaller because I shrink. What would happen if someone drank a potion with a scale factor of 1, multiplying by 1? It ends the same size. Anytime we multiply by 1, 3 times 1, 4 times 1, 5 times 1, I end up with whatever number I started. So what we're going to do is we're going to pause the video for just a second. We'll come back to the notes page in a minute. And we're going to go to that homework page. And you are just going to start out doing numbers 1 through 9. It asks me, which of these cause it to enlarge? To enlarge are numbers more than 1. To reduce or to shrink are numbers less than 1, and to preserve are numbers equal to 1. So you're going to answer 1 through 9. Tell me enlarge, reduce, or shrink. I'll give you a heads up. This number, 0.75, is less than 1. So it's a reduce. Do that and then resume the video. So we already said if our scale factor is more than 1, I'm going to enlarge. my scale factor is less than 1, we're going to reduce. So looking right here, number 5, 6, and 7, just these 3 problems right now. It gives us a scale factor. 2/5 is less than 1, so I know my numbers are going to shrink. 3.5 is more than 1, so those numbers are going to grow. 5/3 is more than 1, so I know those numbers are going to grow. And just like you multiplied when we started out, you're going to do the same thing. 35 times 2/5 gives me 14. 15 times 2/5 gives me 6. So that new shape would be a rectangle. The long side would be 14. The short side would be 6. And you're going to do that on number 6, number 7. You're also going to do number 10 and number 11 that same way. So we're knocking out our homework as we go. It's telling me to use this shape and tell me the dimensions of the 2 new rectangles. So taking these sides and multiplying it by whatever scale factor is right here. Once you finish number 6, number 7, number 10, number 11, we're going to add in our very last example. We are almost done with this thing. My last set of questions gives me 2 shapes, and it wants me to find the scale factor. Well, when we were looking for the new shape, we multiplied. So when I'm given both shapes, we're going to divide. So we're going to make ourselves a note. When given both shapes, shapes, not shades, we divide. And up at the top, it shows us how we are dividing. It says we're going to do our new shape divided by our old shape, or our image divided by our pre-image. So when I look right here, this is my new, or my image, whichever word you want to use. I'm going to take one side for my new shape, so I'm going to pick the 15, new over old. Because I picked the 15 on the new shape, I want to pick this side in the same exact place. So 15 is in the same place as 12. So we're going to do 15 divided by 12. 15 divided by 12 is 1.25. And some of you are like, but miss, what if I pick 10? If you pick 10 and 8, my new shape divided by my old shape, we'd get that same number. So it doesn't matter which side you're picking, whether you want to pick the bottom or the left side, right side, top, whatever, as long as you're picking the same. I picked the bottom for this shape, so I'm going to choose the bottom for this shape. I'm going to help you set number 9 up. I'm going to use the tops. So I have my new shape because of my apostrophes. It's my image and my pre-image or my old shape. So I'm going to pick a side for my new shape divided by a side for my old shape. 12 divided by 18 gives me that 0.6 repeating. It's super important. So I know that this shape grew. It was a grow. So I know that my answer has to be more than 1. That gives me a little bit of a clue. This shape is shrinking. So I know that my answer has to be less than 1. And 0.6 is less than 1. So at this point, you should only have 2 homework problems left. We're still using this shape, the 32 and 8. So this is my pre-image or my old shape. They gave you the dimensions for the new shape. I'm going to actually draw them out just so we don't have to worry about messing up. So this is our image. It says that it is 24 by 6. This one is a heart image, and it is 80 by 20. So we're going to use this shape aside from my new shape, divided by aside from my old shape, aside from my new shape, divided by aside from my old shape. When this is done, tear this homework page off, drop it in the basket. Let's get busy.